Okay, we are live. So welcome everyone to this Agent Intelligent kind of like episode. So we're diving deep into kind of like, AI agents, platform specialized in agents, kind of like speaking with like both like agents builder, but also like kind of a leader in the space, in this kind of agentic space. And today we're diving deep a little bit in kind of like what is sci-fi, what is all about, how we kind of leveraging all the AI agents. And I just want to welcome Gauthier. It's a pleasure to have you here, an honor to have you here. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Francisco. It's a pleasure. I've been seeing all the latest episode you've done. It's amazing. Yeah, so a bit about me. Been in this space since 2020, having built different DeFi products, really focused always on DeFi retail users, making it accessible. So first started building a DeFi super app, and then created infrastructure for native account abstraction tooling on ZK Sync. And then, at some point, we wanted to generate some yield with the treasury and didn't want to handle, all the different aspects of DeFi and, monitoring, rebalancing, all these complex procedures. So we lately also spin off a new product called Zi-Fi, and basically Zi-Fi solves the problems of generating yield, I would say, automatically without too much hassle.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice. I mean, it's very cool. It's actually quite self-explanatory on generating yields without hassle. So I assume like the agent is going there. But run me through kind of like the history a little bit, like what problems you were trying to solve initially with the Zi-Fi and building kind of like this agent-enable yields.
Yeah, so the initial idea was, I've been in this space for quite some time, and I know how complex it is to manage DeFi positions, right? To always find the right opportunity, to rebalance between protocols, to monitor all these things. It's really complex, and
Yes.
uh, you know, we have a bit of treasury. We wanted to, generate yield on it, and we were like, okay, how are we going to do this? So how am I going to do this without wasting too much time as a founder, so I can also keep focusing on my business and not having to handle this. And also we know that opportunities change all the time, APYs change all the time, and it's always complex to deposit everything into one DApp and just
Yes.
leave it there, and you don't know what's going on. And so I really wanted to solve that particular issue. And so this is where Zi-Fi was born.
Hmm.
And the idea is pretty simple.
Hmm.
It's you basically come to Zi-Fi. We deploy a smart wallet for you. You
Yes.
deposit stable coins, and then you pre-approve a certain amount of protocols you would like the agents to basically farm and to analyze. So you pre-select, like I would say, like four protocols that have been tested, like Aave or Euler or Pendle, for example. And then you sign session keys giving access to a co-signer, which is the agents, and also pre-approving the protocols you want the agents to interact with. So once you have your whole setup, you have deposited USDC, the agents will automatically deposit your funds into the protocol which has the highest yield. And then when the yield changes, let's say yield is higher in another protocol, it will basically rebalance on its own.
Nice, nice. So it's auto rebalancing, so specific features. But let's dive a little bit in the specific kind of like feature, kind of like design and kind of the core functionality. I think like if you want to screen share or like showing us
Yeah.
what actually is Zi-Fi, and I'm mostly interested also like how people are interacting with Zi-Fi today. Is some kind of like agent to agent collaboration. There is a platform you can deploy. Like that's oh yeah, I see your screen sharing here.
Yep. So yeah, I
Nice.
can show you the flow. Very basic. For now, it's code gated, right? Still in the beta, private
Mhm.
beta phase.
Nice.
So
So
if
it's kind
people
of an
wanna,
alpha here.
what did you say?
It's kind of an alpha here. Really
Yeah,
good.
definitely. So if people wanna access it, just come to our Telegram chat or even on Twitter.
Mhm.
We'll send you a code so you can test it out. So for right now, it's on Sonic Chain. We thought it was really nice to deploy there because of the incentives that there is, and there's all the DeFi OGs there. So it's always nice to see Sonic and all the
Good.
protocols coming there. So we decided to go there, and we chose protocols which have quite a decent amount of TVL, like Aave, Euler, Pendle, and Silo. So
Mhm.
you come in, you have these protocols that we've integrated, and then you just select which ones you would like to basically farm, and then you create, and then we deploy a smart account for you. Then you deposit USDC. For right now, it's only in USDC. We've had demands for adding ETH as well. But here's the important part is this is the part where you sign the session keys. And then here you give a co-signer access to our agents.
Mhm.
And then you also approve the protocols that you want to interact with. Once that is set up, basically the agent will deposit funds on um, on the protocol which has the highest yield.
Mhm.
And cool part is that it will do everything for you, like pay the gas, uh, interact with the protocols. You don't have to interact with the front end and all these complex procedures. So it does everything for you. Deposits on the protocol, and then the agents now will keep analyzing all these opportunities,
Mhm.
and it will analyze the APY, the 7 last days average APY, and then if it does some certain calculation, and if it sees that there's a better opportunity, it will rebalance for you automatically
Nice.
on another protocol. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
On Sonic, there's these points where you have the points from the chain, you have the points from the protocols, and then we have some also added a point system on our side.
Yep.
And APY is pretty decent right now. It's on Pendle generating 9%, so it's pretty cool. And you can see all the rebalancing that has been done.
Nice. So specifically, like, so I'm just trying to understand. So basically, like, you get obviously the rebalancing like features is actually a stronger value prop than going directly to a handle directly, right?
Yeah, exactly. It'll just rebalance between the protocols automatically for you.
Hmm.
Analyze the best APY based on some certain calculation we do. Like we analyze the TVL, the depth, the cost of the transaction, if it's worth rebalancing or not. So it takes all these things into consideration, and if the APY is higher, it rebalances
Yes.
for you automatically.
Nice. Actually, it's very interesting. I was wondering also like, I mean, I'm seeing like quite a lot of like kind of like DeFi agents, but this is also very structured in terms of kind of like rebalancing specific features. And run us through a little bit kind of like I don't want to dive into kind of like technical stuff, but I just want to understand a little bit like architecture wise. This is a non-custodial, so basically the agent will actually like provide and do specific kind of like triggers for you, right?
Yeah, so we worked with Rhinestone,
Mm-hmm.
and so we deploy for you ERC 7579 Safe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a modular type of
Nice.
smart wallets, which enables a lot of flexibility for us and for the user. So like adding session keys, and then in the future, what we'll be also able to do. For now, it's cool, right? It's on one chain, four protocols, but we can add simply like we could add like 5 to 6 chains and like maybe 30 protocols.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the rebalancing, um, with Rhinestone and their Omni accounts, the rebalancing will be instant. As they use intents with solvers, and then they integrate different bridges like across.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we'll be able to rebalance in almost instantly between chains and protocols.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's really the nice part about having worked with Rhinestone for this.
Nice. Nice. And specifically, like on like integration wise, you guys are building specifically all the integration, right? Or you're doing some kind of like agent to agent collaboration?
Yeah. So the way it works is that we work with the protocols, and then we use their APIs, and so the agent basically calls the different APIs, receives the API data from the different opportunities, and then based on that, eventually, and some other calculation, it takes a decision to rebalance or not, or to deposit in the first place in the right protocol.
Okay, okay, okay. That's very cool. And like speaking a little bit about the kind of like the journey to actually arrive to this kind of like on prod kind of platform. You wanna run us through kind of like how was the journey in terms of like how was the building experience, like some kind of like lesson learned also for all the
Yeah.
Asian builders hearing us, because I think like people testing frameworks, testing different things, and I would love to understand a little bit more about your experience so far.
Yeah, definitely. So, in the first place, we had built something completely different. We had actually built a prompt
Mhm,
on zk Sync.
mhm,
There was the Ignite program, and yields were really high. And so we developed a prompt which would basically analyze all the opportunities. And then, like, the first version would just give you like, you would ask questions about like the opportunities on zk Sync, and it would
mhm,
give you data like, there's this opportunity, you can generate this amount of APY. We were plugged in with a Merkle API. Merkle was the provider that was enabling the incentives on zk Sync in the Ignite program. So we were using this API. We were also using some other data to
mhm,
retrieve all the possible opportunities on zk Sync. And then, we built this, and the biggest challenge the team had was that in the first place, um, we were calling the APIs directly,
mhm.
retrieving numerical data, and
Yeah.
actually the LM was a bit like hallucinating, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was not giving like good outputs. So we tried many different things, and then at the end, we actually just created SQL templates, retrieved the data, and then the LLM was able to get better information basically, and then give better outputs to the prompts.
Mhm.
So that was the journey the team went through. So
Yes.
the prompt, funny story, we actually built the whole prompt. It was like even analyzing your wallets and like telling you,
Oh,
okay, you
yeah.
have this amount of USDC, you should invest here or go into this opportunity.
Mhm.
So it was working quite well.
Yes.
But then, like, we were seeing like everybody, creating prompts, and we wanted to actually just solve the initial problem we had in a way more simpler way, with basically more automation, because this is what the users want. They want automation, but they also want to have control.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
and
You
and
probably also don't want to lock in the user, right? To use a specific kind of like either protocol. You want to still maintain kind of the flexibility there.
definitely. So yeah, that was the journey, and the challenges we had, and the right now the agents is still using the ELISA framework, to take some decisions, but for right now it's still, like, the calculation it does for rebalancing and analyzing the APYs is for now pretty basic,
Mhm.
but we could add like way more later down the road and improve that.
It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a journey, right? First, you kind of like defining the basic output scenario, and then you kind of like creating on top of that. So kind of like it's very interesting to see actually the journey. Like, what are your thoughts around kind of like agent to agent collaboration? Because I assume like in the future you will also interact with other agent for specific kind of like DeFi applications.
Yeah, definitely. So, right now, yeah, it's a single agent, but we could definitely see like, agents for this is for yield, right? But you could
Yeah.
also have like agents for different types of, for operations that users wants to do. And yeah, I think there'll be agents for doing like specific things in the DeFi space, like, generating yield, borrowing, lending, and eventually all these agents will interact with each other at some point. Um, and yeah, it's yet to see like how, for me, like we're still like in very early days, right?
Hmm.
Where like AI is there, but sometimes there's still some errors. There's still some,
Yes.
as you know, as I said, it hallucinates. So I think it's going to be really massive, probably in the next months, to see like how fast it's going to go, and how things going to evolve. But yeah, it's going to be nice to see like maybe agents to agents for trading.
Yep, yep,
Uh,
yep.
that's going to be fun, seeing like agents trade against each other.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
it might be a good, kind of also lengthy competition, right? Because I assume like people will start delegating, delegating also ownership to do specific actions on a more kind of like yeah, kind of horizontal way, right? So I think like it makes sense what you're saying around agent to agent kind of collaboration. I definitely think like we will get in a specialized agent versus generalized one, right? Meaning also we need to also create these kind of like frameworks slash kind of standards for agent to agent kind of like that's one part, and then the second part is we want to definitely have both kind of social credential and social reputation system for those agents to actually give like user, hey, this is kind of the track record of in the past, so that you don't do like some kind of DeFi summer where people were forking project to projects, right?
yeah.
Uh, no, that's super interesting. I mean, Gauthier, so I think we're almost out of time here. It's very interesting. You showed me a little bit what's going on. So, what are you guys like planning to do next in terms of kind of like what are you cooking right now and you're looking forward to ship? That
Yeah,
obviously you can speak about. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So, this is really like the first version, but when we built this, like, so we saw a massive opportunity actually,
Hmm.
through. So there's automation with agents where you can automate a lot of things. You can, like, we see a way, for example, like users to define a certain percentage they want to put in certain amount of protocols, a certain type of risk they want to take, and then the agents will reevaluate depending on the type of user. So there's a lot more to build on the automation side, but where we see actually um, a big potential with account abstraction and with smart wallet and the Petra upgrade coming up
Hmm.
is that people are used to invest in vaults, right?
Hmm.
And to have like a curator manage the funds of that vault. Um, and actually, you could do the same thing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Setup we have today, where like you could have like a marketplace with curators and users. Curators would create strategies, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then users, like smart wallet users, could just like sign session keys, give a co-signer access to a curator, and then you would have your funds deployed, you would have your funds rebalance, and the curator could manage everything. And where we see this as a big shift is that users in this case um, they keep power over their funds and where the positions are, right? You don't have to trust a vault, someone that manages the vaults. Your funds are in your wallets, but you just have a curator that's there to rebalance on your behalf with
Yes.
predefined protocols. And so this is where we want to go, is improving the automation aspects for users who want to automate on their own, right? But
Yes.
we also want to have the opportunity to have users um, have the possibility to have their own curator that will rebalance on their own for them. So this is where we're also focused on, is on the agent side, but also I would say on the account abstraction curator type of marketplace for people to generate yields.
Nice, nice. So specifically, and what about like the builders? Like, will you provide kind of like tooling for developers to build on top of like sci-fi? Like, I assume like you also like for integration, you want to have more kind of integration happening from the community side too.
Yeah, definitely. We this is definitely like we want to build an SDK for smart wallets that would like to integrate us and and propose directly in the smart wallets, different yielding strategies from different curators. So this is definitely something that we also want to build later down the road, but also for like automation as well. So yeah, it's something we've discussed and that we have in the roadmap. So
Nice, nice.
not yet, but coming very
Coming
soon.
soon. Awesome, awesome. I mean, good. Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's super useful. I really appreciate also like the fact that you're showing like some demo even before kind of like going out of beta. I think like for the people hearing us, they want to test it out, definitely like reach out to you. We'll send also some over some of the links. I would definitely review also like some of the docs that you they shipped on that. Interesting also to see the agent side and kind of like I'm trying to build a comparison with other kind of like DeFi specific agents. But I think in the future, like integration will also play a big role, right? So the kind of this platform with having this specific integration will play, and obviously like giving toolings for developers to integrate with your kind of like front ends, right? I think that will be playing a big role. And yeah, apart that, thank you so much. Looking forward also to meet if you will be either in ACC or something like to meet up. And yeah, anything that you want to add before we're closing up?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. Don't hesitate to reach out to us if you want a better code to test the flow, and have give us some feedback or any comments you have. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for having
Nice.
me.
Thank you so much, Gauthier. Pleasure. Thanks everyone for listening. And if you're building agents, you need to debug in kind of like we have a specific like model sub channel in there. Until that time, thank you so much, and feel free to DM. My door is always open. All the team is always around, and we'll send over some link from Zi-Fi. Thank you so much, Gauthier, and thanks everyone for